Hello, everyone. I'm going to spend a little time and talk about my mother. Uh, we lost her in 2017, so it's coming up upon the 10-year mark. And I want to talk about it now because I'm compelled to talk about it now. And I'm realistic. I may not see the 10-year mark, especially what's going on now in this world. A bomb could drop any minute now. I mean, it's just stupid. Stupid times we living in. You would think we would have evolved into some better human beings that would do everything to avert war, but no. As long as these pale face are running stuff, we're gonna have to deal with this. Really. What is the point? Why is they fighting? Israel and Israelites and the Palestinians, they still fight. And the Russians and the Ukraine, they're still fighting. These people, these men, never growed up. They was raised by people that never growed up. They are fighting mentally while we're fighting physically. You know, so uh, their kids not out there. Their kids is too old to go out there and fight. Or they're finding an excuse for them not to go out and fight. But anyway, I want to talk about this woman. I'm gonna excuse this picture because I think that's a very beautiful picture of her, and that's her favorite hat. She looked beautiful with that hat on. Yeah, these obituaries, they have gotten really sophisticated. You know, I know some of them are even better than that. You know, you got the pictures and you got the words and the order of service. Um, okay, the obituary pictures, more pictures, and it's a shame. Um, this was my mother, but I had nothing to do with the service. They didn't even tell us that my mother was dying. But I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to talk about her. Uh, you know what? And this is something that all families go through. When something happens, in which it will, you live long enough, it will. It's not about if, it's when. And we all have that to deal with. Every last person born. Uh, just like I know one day I'm going to get some bad news. One day my kids will get some bad news. Uh, we have to keep the communication open. Now, it's a shame that they wasn't able to communicate with me. I don't know what they told anybody else, but it's a shame that uh, your attitude and your opinion in the relationship that I have with my mother got in the way of you telling me that my mother was dying. I know it's hard to face. Nobody wants to face that. Um, and the funeral was just as bad. I came home and made a video about it because it was just as bad because the family structure is so dysfunctional um, that we don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to be sympathetic. We don't know how to show empathy. Just because it ain't got nothing to do with what we said in the past. It ain't got nothing to do with what happened in the past. It's about meeting the moment. And see, this is what happened. Uh, I a lot of these people that came to my mother's funeral, I haven't seen them in 30, 40, 50 years. But and I realize now that getting older, because sometimes I look in the mirror and I see my mother. You we didn't see what we don't remember our mother being young, but and I know, growing up in the South, dirt poor, fifth grade education, uh, has a toll on your psyche. That's why I never blamed my mother. I never blamed my mother for none of my actions. All I could do was just wish things had been different. And I'm not gonna, I mean, her parents probably didn't even go to school. I don't know. And I look at these kids now. A lot of kids don't even know their parents or their grandparents. A lot of them growing up never knowing their father, or some cases their mother. The family is so important. It's the most important thing on this planet, and we take it for granted. And it all starts at the top. My parents did not keep the family together. It did not. They did not make the family a family. And it's the same thing now, with my family. I have kids that don't even speak to me, and their kids don't speak to me. Um, I have kids right now that live in the same town I live in that I haven't seen in 5 years. You may wonder, what did I do to these people that they hate me that bad? I wish I. Oh Lord, I hate the fact that I probably am going to die, never knowing why they hate me so. I know I've heard that I I mean, how did I left them. No, okay. I Uh, I didn't protect them. Um, Even one came out and said that a man that I was with was touching her, which, what do you want me to do about it? When I didn't know how it happened, which I hate to sound like one of those, but I know these people have lied on me so many times, but there's nothing I can do about it now. If you had told me when it was happening, that's why I don't understand. I kind of understand, but not in that sense, because I had a brother, step half brother, that was touching me. I know I'm going, but I wanted it because I was so thirsty for um for for something. We didn't get hugged by our parents. We didn't get kisses. We didn't get everything's going to be okay. We didn't get none of that. I just wanted some kind of emotional um, connection. That's why we ran to sex. Misplaced. It was misplaced. Um, I can't think of what I want to say. Relationship between two people. And I don't understand if you're being touched by someone, why you don't tell somebody? Because in this time of day, it's why I know that that's wrong. Back then, we didn't talk about stuff like that. My parents never said if somebody's touching you, let me know that's wrong. You didn't. You think they didn't discuss it in school. They didn't discuss it in the movies. They didn't. Parents didn't discuss it. So you can't believe that a child's going to know that's wrong. Automatically think that's wrong. No, they don't. And I had the kind of parents that would know something and wouldn't say nothing. Just like I remember one time I had some diet pills, and my mother found them, and she, I believe she took them to the pharmacy to see what kind of pills they were, and she was discussing it with my father, but she never said nothing to me about it. And the same thing with I can't remember. This was so long ago, but I think I had some kind of sexual disease or something, and my mother found out about it, but she never said nothing to me about it. And then when she found out I was pregnant, she did the worst thing she could have done. I was going to a free clinic where they help unwed young mothers, She took me out of that and took me to one of her doctors, and the doctor treated me like shit. And my mother didn't tell me anything about having a baby. Yeah. Um, so we didn't talk about it, And I remember talking to my mother, asking my mother about it's something in school we was learning, and I asked my mother, did she breastfeed, and she looked shocked. She never did answer me. It was like I was asking her how many sex partners she had or something. You know? And that would have been a great opportunity to tell me about her experience and that she had a child young, but she didn't. When I found out she had a child young was at her funeral. My uncle literally got up in front of her congregation and said my mother had a child when she was a teenager, just to make my mother look bad because I called my mother perfect. And how old is a teenager? You are a teenager up until 19. So was she 18, 19, 17, 16, 15, whatever? How see, I have a big family and I have a relationship with them. My mother's side had 12 kids. My father's side had 12 kids, and I never had a relationship with none of them. And that's why I said when by the time I seen them at my mother's funeral, you know, about half of them was already passed away. And the ones that I did see, I hadn't seen them since I was a little kid. And and this is how they treated us. But anyway, um, I know I went way over there, but I just wanted to. This is my mother's Bible. I grabbed it when we went to her house, and this is how we grew up. It was one Bible in the house, and I remember asking my mother why she didn't get us a Bible. And you know what her response was? You didn't like church anyway. That's why we didn't talk to our mother much because that's the response you would get. And I grabbed this, and well, like I said, she at home we have one Bible. It was a white one, and it had the letters in red. This one I don't think has the letters in red. Jesus words. Oh, yes it do. Um, and she would keep it in her room. Sometimes she would leave it in the bathroom, and I'd get it and read through it because I would read everything. But just looking over some of her uh, scriptures that she highlighted. Okay. Uh, Exodus 19:5. Now, therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. And she read this Bible. She went to church practically all her life. She was on the usher board for over 40 years, and I never remember her ever saying a scripture to us or praying with us, praying over us. The closest she got to any kind of scripture was give it to Jesus. We never had a Bible study as a family. She never quoted a scripture. Oh, okay. Another one was Exodus 20, number 1. And God spoke all these words: Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Thou shalt not bow. Thou shalt not take thy name, Lord. These are 10 commandments. Remember the seventh day. So these are the 10 commandments. Uh, Let me see. That's the only one she had. And let me see. See, I see one here in Judges. Joshua 24:15. But as for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. You know, when in that house we was in, I grew up in, my father, he didn't go to church. They slept in separate rooms. They had their own phone number. My dad had his phone number, and my mother had her phone number. Okay, so um, I read this scripture at my mother's funeral because I got up and talked first, and that's when I called my mother perfect. And then before I ended, I read this scripture because she had this scripture marked here in Isaiah 54:17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. And didn't my uncle and aunt and cousin get up there and spew this venom about my mother? After I read this scripture, every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment shall condemn. Before they even got up, I didn't already condemned everything they said. So that's how it went. I miss my mother, even though we was not very close at all. Um, we did not talk much, but I miss her. That was my mom. Thank you for listening. And I do petition the Almighty, a higher power, that I could be an ancestor, that anyone, everyone that is in need can look upon. And at times, I tell you, when things is really heavy, when I need some heavy reinforcement, I do look upon and call on my ancestors. All that I know and don't know. And my mother, my grandmother, all of them. My aunt Jean, all of them. That's just me. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.